This week on the YouTube channel, we're finally going to be reviewing the SuperYank comics. Collection number 1. We've got this book collects numbers 1 to 10 from 1950 and 52. We've got an amazing cover done by Mr. Chris Wall, and this is a part of the Frew Legacy series. Phantom fans have been waiting for this book to come out for the last 5 to 6 years. This book came out last year in 2025, and now on Phantom Cave Reviews, we're personally going to review this book. This book is an absolute treat. It's an absolute treat. I love the high qualityness of this book. Now, you've probably heard me read the ads for these books, and you probably thought, oh, are they actually high quality books? Well, you can see by yourself on the video that they are high quality books. The binding is high quality. We have felt that's obviously high quality, and the stories are retroness, high qualityness. Does that even make sense? I don't think it does. In issue 1, we have Kid Eternity, Monsters from the Mirror, Big Brother, and Poison Ivy. Now, what's something I did notice is in the SuperYank comics, we don't necessarily see the Phantom until issue number 2. Now, in issue number 2, the Phantom is in a Phantom story called The 12 Tasks Part 1, and that goes until issue number 5, so that goes for practically probably 4 issues. In issue 2, we also have Catman and Kit, because it was quite popular in the Rat Trap. We've got Carla the Caveman in issue 3 on page 51, and it appears. The Phantom in the 12 Tasks Part 2. We've got Catman and Kit and Carla the Caveman. In issue 4, we've got Catman and Kit, Metal Man. The Phantom, the 12 Tasks Part 3. Carla the Caveman. We've got in issue 5 appears on page 97. We've got Catman and Kit. Is Catman a crook? No. It's actually called The Modern Pied Piper. The Phantom also appears in part 4 of the 12 Tasks. And we've also got Lollapalooza. In page number 121, we've got issue number 6 of SuperYank comics. Catman and Kit, Is Catman a Crook? And The Kidnapped Liner. Issue number 7, there's no number 7 printed, so he goes straight to issue number 8. Catman and Kit, Catman turns speedster, and The Phantom, the Blue Gang Part 1, and that continues until issue number 10. In issue number 9, we have the Catman and Kit in Ghost of Gloomstone and Dam Breakers. The Phantom story is part 2 of Blue Gang. We've got Catman and Kit in issue number 10, appears on page 193. We've got Smuggler's Stronghold, Blue Gang Part 3 in The Phantom, and Vanishing Aircraft. Now let's have a look at the story after all that. In this story, we have 2 scientists. We have 3 apes. 2 apes have discovered his picture and his camera, and it appears that other dimensional beings are coming through the mirror, so to speak. And then we have historical figures coming in to help, and obviously that's the end of that story. And yeah, I quite enjoyed this story. The scientist also passes away, so that's not that great, because the apes obviously kill him. And we then also see them again also arguing, because the apes go over to the other place and they kill the other scientist because he has the blueprints, and then they both die, unfortunately. And then we have Big Brother. So there's this guy, this cartoon character. He becomes a fighter. He ends up knocking someone out. He goes and gets another one of those wrestling people, and he ends up faking it out and ends up running away because he's not a real boxer. And then we've got Poison Ivy. We've got this guy that's building and borrowing ladders. Okay, we've got SuperYank Comics issue number 2. We've got 12 Tarks the Phantom. Diana, as everyone knows, Diana gets kidnapped by a prince, and the Phantom then goes and tries to rescue her. In doing so and trying to rescue her, he has to complete 12 Tarks. And then that's the end of that story. And then we go to part 2 in the next issue. Because they cut it real short like they do on the Mad Cave Studios Phantom comics. Okay, we've got Catman and Kit's story. We've got a rat trap. Catman and Kit, they trap a rat and they send, basically, the rat is not doing the really, really nice things. And they trap him, they get him, and they send him to prison. And then we've got Carla and the caveman. The caveman has these guys that are living in a part of obviously the cave world. And they have obviously taken the person that he most desires. And Carla, the caveman, wants to try and rescue these people and help these people come out. And he ends up getting all of these dinosaurs out of the way and ends up rescuing and saving their village. They put a heap of rocks in the mountain valley to making sure that the forest is safe, and that night a great feast is held in Carla's honor. We've got issue number 3 here now. We've got Discover again, Catman and the Phantom. The Phantom is back in his 12 adventures, his 12 tasks he has to do to save Diana. If he fails at least only one of them, Diana becomes married to the prince, and he ends up taking on a big criminal. He takes on a heap of the river. He puts a heap of stones in the water and makes sure that the water can be obviously drunk because they had man-eating fish in there and sharks. Okay, we've also got Catman and Kit. We've got this guy that is in the main city powerhouse. There's this guy that happens to be trying to organize gang stuff. He's obviously trying to make a living out of this, and Catman and Kit foil his plots, and they end up sending the guy to jail. And it ends up, the guy behind the marks ends up being the mayor of the city. We've got Carla, the caveman. The caveman ends up having to go and rescue his, obviously probably his girlfriend or his love interest. So he happens to use this as a technique to try and get his girlfriend or his love interest back. In doing so, he's able to rescue them, and the monsters come back and they pursue the great Carla, and the Carla ends up saving their entire valley because the harmful people, they go back into their own valley and they're never seen again because of the great eye stone was turned on and sunlight showing through it once again. We've got issue number 4 from SuperYank Comics. We've got Catman versus a evil scientist's metal creation, and the metal creation is going to go and rob banks for the scientist, but the metal object ends up saying no to it. Catman is into his wits' end, and Catman holds the metal man powerless and ends up turning him off. And he now can't move an inch because of it. And he used water, and it made the works rust solid. It made him easier for me to manage. So that's the Catman and Kid and Catman story done. We've got again the next issue of the story for the Phantom. We've got, he's tackling an ape. He ends up finishing that guy off. He goes and finishes off the water. He goes up to a mountain. He comes back in time, just in time to ward off Prince Peppy, who is getting ready to wed Diana. And we've got Carla the caveman. Carla hears of this witch who's not actually a witch. She basically tells him that he is under her control. Carla is coming to try and attack his friends, and eventually he gets rid of the potion and ends up getting the witch woman. We've got issue number 5, and he obviously saves the day. Catman and Kit are then again battling the rat. The rat is in doing heist after heist. There's a valuable collection of art prints. He goes in there, and Catman and Kit lay a trap, and he falls for it, and he ends up having to go back to jail. Okay, we've got the Phantom and his tasks again. So in this one, he's going to go and do some more tasks. He comes back and ends up completing all the tasks. He then wants Prince Pepe to release his lingership of his crown, and all is well. The Phantom rescues Diana. We've got Lollapalooza, and that's quite a cool comic. We've got SuperYank Comics number 6. We've got Catman and Kit is being foiled to be becoming a criminal. Obviously, Catman and Kit have to try and make sure that they are doing the right thing, and they do, and they call the police, but the police don't really believe him. But then again, the guy who's actually Catman and Kit ends up going to jail because he's a repeat offender, and Catman and Kit remain the trust holders of their own superhero and ends up getting the trust back from the police. We got another Catman and Kit going on here. A cruise liner has disappeared. He goes into a island, and Catman and Kit have to try and go and get the money that was stolen from him, from the ship. So they do that, and he comes to it all, and he gets a book written on himself. That guy, the evil guy, obviously goes to jail. We've got SuperYank Comics number 8, and Catman and Kit are doing a speed race. There's this guy, he enlists the help of Catman and Kit because there are potential assassination attempts trying to end his racing career. And at the end of this story, Catman and Kit take his place. They win him the race, and he ends up getting a big trophy over it. And then we've got the Phantom in the Blue Gang. This blue gang is causing a lot of strife, and the Phantom is also trying to save himself from the blue gang. We've got issue number 9. Catman and Kit are battling a ghost, it seems, in Gloomston. They end up trying to save the ghost, but then again, he ends up going to jail. Catman and Kit are thwarting some plans of some criminals who don't want a weir to be opened. They end up splashing out, and they go to jail as well. The Phantom then fights the Blue Gang, and he finds out their eventual plan of what was actually going to happen. They anchor down, and that is part 2 of the Blue Gang done. And then we have issue number 10 of SuperYank Comics. We've got Catman and Kit. This is a putty-free smuggler. So we got Catman and Kit is battling some smugglers. He ends up crashing them out, and they go to jail. Okay, we've got the Phantom in the last part of Blue Gang. He ends up crashing them out, beating them all up, and they go to jail and rescues Diana because she was kidnapped by them. We've got Catman and Kit versing a World War II not so great person. A guy that actually looks like a World War II person. That's from World War II, but actually isn't. And then we've got Catman and Kit, and they end up foiling old mate's plan, and that's the end of that story. Old mate goes to jail, and we are at the end of our book. I cannot speak more highly of this series. In our next video and next comic book review, we're going to have a look at collection number 2 of this same series. That will be coming out on the channel very, very soon. And that was my comic book review of SuperYank's Comics Collection number 1. Thank you for watching this comic book review of this book. And as always, keep Phantom Caving, stay safe, and I will see you next time.